Good Monday evening and welcome to the 2025 ASOSU Presidential and Vice Presidential Debate hosted by KBVR TV. I'm Andre Bedoya Bunch, anchor of the Chew.
And I'm Fox Perez, ASOSU beat reporter for the Daily Barometer. Tonight, 4 presidential and vice presidential tickets will debate a variety of topics relevant to both the student body and their potential elected positions in the ASOSU. As we introduce our candidates, we ask our audience to please hold their applause until all of the tickets have been introduced.
At the far table to the left, the presidential candidate is Lauren Kemo, and a second year studying natural resources. The vice president is Alexa Gomez Silva, a second year studying Spanish and political science. At the next table, the presidential candidate is Mercedes Allen, a third year studying marine biology with a minor in chemistry. And the vice presidential candidate is Chantel Andrea Velasquez, a third year studying political science. At the table to our right, the presidential candidate is Kayla Ramirez, a third year student studying political science and psychology. And the vice presidential candidate is Masha Mogilevsky, a third year studying digital communication arts with minor in philosophy and writing. And at the far table to the right, the presidential candidate is Eliza Ekman, a third year OSU student who is currently in the first year of her master's in environmental arts and humanities. And the vice presidential candidate is Sean Durr, a third year student studying biohealth sciences with a minor in public health.
Our debate tonight will take place over 60 minutes, which each ticket will have a 60-second opening and a 60-second closing statement. Over the course of the debate, each question will be directed to all tickets in a randomized and predetermined order. Each ticket will have 60 seconds to answer together. As the candidates speak, each ticket will be able to decide how they wish to split the time between their presidential and vice presidential candidate. Microphones will be muted during the duration in which a candidate is not speaking. Regarding the questions, we have only shared a list of potential topics to the candidates.
To keep track of time, we have a timer which will start as soon as we prompt a ticket to begin their response. When a candidate has 15 seconds remaining, the indicator will turn orange. At 5 seconds, the indicator will turn red and the time will begin to flash. Once time is up, we'll turn off that candidate's microphone. As we carry out the debate tonight, we remind our candidates that respectful civil discourse is essential to a productive debate. As before, we also ask our audience to refrain from applause or other interruptions throughout the course of the debate. Thank you. We will now begin with 60-second opening statements from each ticket. The randomized order of opening statements will be Kayla and Masha, Mercedes and Chantel, Lauren and Alexa, and lastly, Eliza and Sean. Kayla and Masha, you are up first. Your timer starts now.
Thank you, Andre and Fox, for the introduction, and good evening, Beavers. My name is Kayla Ramirez, and I'm running to be your ASOSU president. I currently serve as a peer navigator for the Basic Needs Center, and in ASOSU, I serve on your student fee committee as a liaison for the Basic Needs Center, and I'm proud to say I'm a member of the CAPS Advisory Board. I'm proud to be here tonight with my running mate.
Hi, my name is Masha Mogilevsky, and I'm running for ASOSU Vice President. I work at the HIWGC right now, which is a job I really love. We're both from a background of activism on campus and community organizing, and we're proud to be on the organizing committee of OSU Student Workers, which is a current unionization effort for undergraduate students. And we're also endorsed by them and the Coalition of Graduate Employees.
Yeah, like Masha said, we're really proud to be endorsed by both student worker unions here on campus. We're happy to be here tonight and dedicate even further our commitment to this community, and we're really happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Mercedes and Chantel, you're next, and your timer starts now.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. We're The Damn Dream, and I'm Chantel Velasquez. I am running for VP because I believe that every student deserves to feel seen, heard, and supported on this campus. With my experience in community leadership and policy advocacy in the personal level and in the state level, as a former legislative intern for Senator Jalma and currently the communications intern for the BIPOC caucus for this legislative session. I'm committed to promote transparency, equity, and sustainability within campus. Together, Sadie's and I can make OSU a place where every student can thrive, not just academically, but mentally and socially.
And I'm Mercedes. I'm your presidential ticket for The Damn Dream. I'm a part of the Senate right now, and I'm on the Budget Committee. I'm also a Beaver Connect peer mentor, and I'm a part of the Cascadia COPAS Hub as a fellowship, student fellowship as well.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Lauren and Alexa. Your time starts now.
Thank you so much. Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Camus. I'm the presidential candidate in the DAM initiative. I currently serve as the ASOSU Presidential Affairs Director on the Executive Cabinet, working closely with the executive staff, which is a position I really love and value. I am here tonight and I'm running because I see a lot of changes that need to happen on campus that haven't been happening, so I'm honored to be a part of that change.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexa Gomez Silva. I use she, her, AM pronouns. I'm currently a second year, first generation college student studying Spanish and political science because I want to make a change on campus and I want to make sure that every student feels seen because as part of an underrepresented community, I know what it's like to not have your voice heard and I want to make sure that everyone has their voice heard. I'm currently the Leadership Development Activities Coordinator for the Residence Hall Association and also serve as a senator on the ASOSU Senate. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have Eliza and Sean. Your time starts now.
Hello everyone, I'm Eliza. I think I bring a unique perspective as I've been both an undergraduate and graduate student in Oregon State. I know and have experienced the challenges that students face from convocation to commencement. I also have been in the Senate for the past 2 years and a member of the Budgets Committee, advocating and writing legislation for increased transparency and advocacy for responsible spending of the student fee. I've also supported legislation for sustainability initiatives. In addition to that, I work at the Memorial Union and am a student athlete on the cross-country and track team.
Hi all, I'm Sean Durr. I'm running for Vice President. I've also served on the Senate this last year. During my tenure as a senator, I have authored legislation to increase bathroom privacy across campus, as well as been a consistent advocate for a 24-hour library to return. Through my experience in the Senate, as well as the many summers I've spent as a camp counselor, I believe I have the compromise, mediation, and collaboration skills necessary to be an effective and efficient Vice President.
Thank you, candidates. For our first question of the night, we will begin with Laura and Alexa. Only 16% of the student body voted last year. For those who are underinformed about the ASOSU, how do you seek to educate the student body about the fee-setting process and how ASOSU can affect their lives? In what way can the student body participate in student government processes?
Lauren and Alexa, your time starts.
Oh, sorry. Lauren and Alexa, your time starts now.
Thank you. As a first generation college student on the ASOSU Senate, I fought for the accessibility for the VNC Family Resource Center and other student fee funded programs, and I genuinely believe that our OSU community deserves better, and through all the money that our students pay on a term-to-term basis, we deserve to have access to these resources as well. Students deserve to know where their funds are going, and they should have a say on how their funds are spent. And we have a plan to achieve this. We will work more with our student advisory boards and other student advocates to promote responsible spending and to promote the knowledge and accessibility and literacy of financial statuses on our campus as well. There are so many things on our campus that have benefited us, like whether directly or indirectly, like CAPS, Dixon Rec Center, the Memorial Union, and more. And as Laura and I are voted in, we will make sure that we keep these resources accessible to all students and make sure that we have accountability with higher admin as well.
Thank you. Kayla and Masha, you're up next, and your time starts now.
Yeah, when we're talking about engagement of students within ASOSU, we gotta think about like how can we reach students and why haven't we yet, right? When we look at the student fee committee process, it can be confusing. Students might not be able to understand what mediation is, what the student fee committee is. Students don't even know what ASOSU is, right? Providing that education to students, doing even greater outreach to our campus community keeps them informed. Students can't make decisions if they're not informed and they don't have the knowledge to make them. Having accessible language for our processes, having clear meeting times in compliance with Oregon public meeting law, and having greater connection with their elected representatives, right? If students have questions, they should turn to their representatives. They elected them. And then also greater outreach with clubs, orgs, colleges, student advisory boards. The best way to engage students is to meet them where they're at.
Thank you. Eliza and Sean, you're up next. Your time starts now.
In our time campaigning, we've seen through a simple whiteboard poll, we've had hundreds of responses to simple questions about ASOSU. We find that it really is as easy as putting a table somewhere like a dining hall to get people to answer a simple poll. In addition to this, we have an index set aside in ASOSU for specifically things like this. Tabling is a very cost-effective, simple, and time-efficient way to do simple outreach to students.
Something that I worked on last year in my capacity on the Budgets Committee was authoring the Fiscal Transparency Act, which sought to enhance clarity, consistency, and accessibility in the student fee setting process. by consolidating budget information and providing both quantitative data and qualitative context. However, this legislation, it worked mostly well, but unfortunately it was a little too complicated even for some members of the budget committee. So we hope to be able to work out some of the details and be able to provide this information for members of the public.
Thank you. Lastly, Mercedes and Chantel, your time starts now.
All right. So looking at the students' fee process, right, transparency and accountability is very important for us. Promoting a culture for student-centered governance by implementing tools for students to easily access meetings, budgets, and policy changes is crucial.
In addition to that, we also want to host monthly ASOSU events that provide low-stakes opportunities for student engagement and accountability for representatives. In doing so, we're going to provide updates and receive feedback from students, and we also want to collaborate and make sure student voices are heard. We also plan to work with the SABs, so our student advisory boards, and budget authorities to make sure that we're having a smooth process in the SFC and also just in general with ASOSU. And in addition, I think another thing that we really want to make sure that we're doing is bringing forth the Budgets Committee initiative, even in the most simple sense.
Awesome, thank you. Our next question of the night will first be answered by Eliza and Sean. In 2007, Oregon State University signed the American College and University President's Climate Commitment, which committed to achieving carbon neutrality by this year. However, greenhouse gas emissions have only been reduced by 23.5% since then. How might you encourage a culture of sustainability as climate change becomes an increasing concern each year? Eliza and Sean, your time starts now.
Yeah, I think we have many ideas for sustainability initiatives on campus. ASOSU currently has a sustainability fund which has about $100,000 in it, and there's been a lack of ideas in the past. One of the things that we want to do is by working with the sustainability office to kickstart a campus-wide greenhouse where people could grow food there year long, and also could be a mixed-use study space where people could study there in the winter and get the vitamin D lights, which could help maybe combat seasonal depression.
Another one of our initiatives we were thinking about was having solar panel electrical outlets on tables outdoors. During the springtime, if your laptop dies, you're out of luck. There's no electrical outlets outside. You have to go inside. So by having these solar panel electrical outlets outside, you can sit outside and study, and that also reduces the load of electricity that is siphoned from buildings like the library or the Link or TV hall.
Another idea is we want to have a campus-wide sustainability contest. Since there's been a lack of ideas, we think that this could bring students into ASOSU and hopefully bring a positive change on campus.
Thank you. Mercedes and Chantel, you are up next, and your time will start now.
So pushing for campus-wide sustainability goals, I think that collaborating with professors and having them get involved with developing sustainability nudges. I am currently taking a class in sustainability, and I actually, one of my assignments was a proposal for a campus-wide nudge, and I came up with EcoPoints, an app that rewards students with who practice sustainability behavior. So that could be a great idea with, getting campus involved and the community.
I think also just increasing the green bike lanes like we have near Dixon would be really nice around campus. Also increase pollinator-friendly species around, like lighting fixtures within campus would be really good sustainability initiatives.
Spectacular. And Kaylin, Masha, you're up next. Your time will begin now.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to highlight, especially with regard to carbon neutrality, is that the university committed to being carbon neutral by 2025, and we should hold them accountable. Why hasn't that happened, right? And while Masha and I are certainly looking to implement new initiatives in our roles, we also want to highlight that the best way to engage community is to engage them in initiatives, right? There are so many sustainability clubs on campus. There are so many sustainable organizations on campus. We need their input. We need their feedback because this is the community that we're serving.
Also, I think that a big part is not just the initiatives, but a more big change where we can actually have control over where our student fees are going and be able to divert that from companies that are destroying the earth, because we currently have very little say in where OSU investments and procurement are happening.
Absolutely. Thank you. Lauren and Alexa, you're our last speaker. Your time starts now.
Thank you. We
We're actually very excited to talk about our sustainability initiatives on campus. Something that we have been actively working on for about 2 months now is a 5-year plan to transition OSU Corvallis campus to 100% renewable energy. This will be achieved with solar, wind, and steam power. Primarily, we've already been in the works with administration and Corvallis city developers to assess the feasibility of this project. So we're very excited with that. We're also going like refillable stations. So in stores and shops and cafes on campus, there could be, you can refill your own bottles with soap or rice or anything like that to reduce plastic waste.
Thank you. At the request of the candidates, we now move to rebuttal. Eliza.
You had a rebuttal for our ticket for Lauren and Alexa. Would you like to make your comment?
Yeah, I guess something that I'd like to point out is steam power is currently used on campus, which is powered by natural gas and releases methane, which is a greenhouse gas. It's a solar powered 60, so I think that steam power might be something that we might want to be moving away from increasing.
Okay, and another rebuttal we had was from Kayla and Marsha towards the same ticket.
Yeah, I'm just seeking some clarification. So you mentioned some of the stakeholders you're working with are like university admin. Have you connected with any campus organizations on your initiatives yet?
And we pass it back to Laura and Alexa. We would like to give you a rebuttal timer, and your timer will start now.
Thank you for giving us time to clarify this. We are specifically working with the College of Engineering and College of Agriculture to develop these initiatives in ways that students working on capstone projects or research projects are able to use the resources for those projects. So they both receive funding and green energy options. So we're mostly working with those two colleges and also our stakeholders in ASOSU and beyond, where it will come from and where these sites will be installed on campus.
Spectacular. Thank you so much.
For this next question, Mercedes and Chantel will be answering first. Under new federal administration, changes to policy have caused concern for various groups, like undocumented students or those under DACA, and transgender students seeking gender-affirming care. How will you ensure that all students, regardless of background, feel welcomed at Oregon State University? Mercedes and Chantel, your time starts now.
I think first and foremost, we want to provide equal opportunity and access to everyone on campus, no matter your background. In order to do this, we're going to be making sure that groups on campus have access to increased involvement and support where they need it.
So as I mentioned in my opening statement, I am currently the communications intern for the BIPOC caucus, and so I actively am working on ensuring that marginalized voices are represented in campus policies and programs. So it is something that I will actively do, and it's something that Sadie's and I both push for.
Thank you. Kayla and Masha, you're up next, and your time starts now.
So especially in the time we're at right now, I think that it's really important not to kowtow to tactics that are being used to make universities scared to lose funding, and keep fighting for the values of our university, no matter if we get threatened to be sued, etc. It's important to keep focusing on students from marginalized entities, especially those that are mostly affected by the changes that are happening right now.
Yeah, and Masha and I also want to highlight some of the healthcare initiatives on our platform. A part of gender affirming care is support services, right? And Masha and I will work to secure those support services for folks seeking gender affirming care, and we'll seek to uplift marginalized voices on our campus.
Thank you. Lauren and Alexa, you're up next, and your time starts now.
As a first-generation college student that is also Latina, this issue is actually very important to me. When student leadership reflects a variety of backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives, it leads to more innovative solutions and ensures that all voices are heard, as Lauren and I are part of these diverse, underrepresented groups. DEI fosters a sense of belonging where students feel valued and respected. This approach helps eliminate barriers to participation, allowing for better representation for the diversity of our student body. By prioritizing DEI, Oregon State University and our ASOSU can create a more just and inclusive community where every student has the opportunity to contribute and succeed, no matter your background. We will work to include marginalized voices in every aspect of our leadership, and we will maintain an equitable environment for everyone by including clubs and other student organizations by creating cultural nights. I personally actually did go to the Metro protest to stand with immigrants, and I will make sure that Lauren and I work hard for these students.
Thank you. Eliza and Sean, you are last, and your time starts now.
Historically, underrepresented communities have not been represented well. I know, it's shocking. Especially with such low turnout in ASOSU elections, it is only natural that such underrepresented communities are proportionately affected by that more. So we would like to collaborate more with the cultural centers and cultural clubs on campus, because ultimately we believe that the most effective way to understand the needs of a community is to collaborate with that community and understand their needs from their perspectives.
I think something else that I could point out is the student fee is not federally funded, so we should continue to keep supporting our cultural centers and clubs through student experiences engagement. We also would like to see more outreach done during the start sessions for freshmen, promoting programs such as STEM leaders, and we want to make sure that these students, once they know about ASOS, you can have a voice in the process by attending student advisory boards or joining the student fee committee or senate running elections.
Thank you. We will now take a short break. The debate will continue just in a few minutes.
Welcome back to the 2025 ASOSU Presidential and Vice Presidential Debate. We continue with our debate questions now. The next one will be answered first by Eliza and Sean. In recent years, campus has seen an increase in discourse surrounding pay for student workers. How will you ensure student workers are paid a livable wage while also preventing rising incidental fees from burdening lower income members of the student body? Eliza and Sean, your time will start now.
The past 2 years in the Senate, we have advocated for student wages that reflect the high cost of living across. We hope to continue to work to achieve fair pay for students, not just in fee-funded units, but in other units as well. Currently, ASOSU has almost $1 million just sitting in the bank being unused. We think that this could get spent towards programs that students want. Students would like to see, such as maybe increasing pay for students, like a pilot, providing the funds necessary for the units in order to increase pay from this excess funds that are not being used.
We'd also think it's important to increase accountability between budgets and ASOSU. As we've seen in this last fee setting process, the process essentially is the Senate approves the bills, and then we trust that the budget managers will allocate the money as the students wish it to be. We would like to have more communication between ASOSU and the budgets to be able to ensure that the money is being spent where students dictate it to be spent.
Thank you. Lauren and Alexa, you are up next. Your time will start now.
Thank you. Student workers at OSU are a foundation to who we are and who we can be. Without student workers, our university would not run the way it does. To address student worker compensation without raising the incidental fee, but also raising student wages, we would begin at the administrative level. If we work with the faculty and the top leaders of OSU, we can change the minimum student wage for everyone, not only the students paid by the fee-funded units. I recognize that raising wages for the fee-funded units would effectively raise our wages, as well as many others, but this is bigger than just us. So we are dedicated to raising wages for every student at OSU. To address compensation further, we will be implementing academic credit for student workers who work a job both on campus and off campus, and they can receive academic credit each term for their employment.
Thank you. Mercedes and Chantel, you're up next. Your time begins now.
In regards to student worker pay, Sadie's and I firmly believe that students shouldn't have to choose between work and academics. Like, fair wages isn't something that should be up for debate.
In addition to that, we recognize that student wages is kind of a nuanced issue. With being in ASOSU this year, I have learned that as much as we have the power to raise student wages within fee-funded units, there are so many more students that work on this campus and deserve to be compensated fair as well. In saying that, I do want to revitalize, if elected, revitalize former President Chris O'Donnell's efforts for a campus-wide minimum wage, as all students deserve fair pay.
Thank you. Last but not least, Kayla and Marcia, your time will start now.
Student wages are one of the most important things on this campus, and it will be the make it or break it for a lot of students whether they can afford to go to college here and work their student job. Currently, there's a lot of students working multiple jobs and still not being able to afford their living. Financial hardships are the biggest barrier for students in academic achievement, and that should be something we really focus on. We have both been active in unionization efforts on campus, which we believe is one of the biggest ways that we can get these changes. We also know that raising wages without raising fees is possible because it has happened before. The minimum wage in this campus has already been raised using funds that were left over from previous budgets. So I know that we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, we know that when students experience financial hardship, especially related to wages, is that well-being, academic success, and community engagement suffer. If we don't prioritize students who contribute their labor, we are complicit in a campus environment that engages in the exploitation of our peers.
Thank you. This next question will be answered first by Mercedes and Chantel. The state of Oregon ranks among some of the lowest states in the nation regarding mental health. What role can ASOSU play in ensuring students have adequate access to mental health resources on campus? Sorry, Mercedes, Chantel, your time starts now.
Thanks for that question, Fox. As far as student mental health goes, we want to work with stakeholders to increase funding for CAPS and expand their capabilities. We understand, and I mean personally I can relate that most students who are seeking support from CAPS are here looking for long-term care, and currently we don't have that capacity. So by increasing advocacy for more staff and expanding our student health, mental health services on campus, we will be working and doing that.
All right, thank you so much. Lauren and Alexa, you're up next. Your time starts now.
Thank you so much. I personally have friends who work in CAPS and have a deeper understanding of what they need, and Laura and I will work and ensure that we work with these programs to make sure that they are getting what they need, and other programs as well. I have also witnessed firsthand the struggles of seasonal depression as someone who comes from a more sunny state, and how stress negatively impacts students. And we want to make sure that there's self-care days on campus, and we make sure that we hold town halls at OSU that will help us better understand the OSU community. Even table at the SEC Plaza and tell students to tell us what they want and what they need on campus to better support them, because Lauren and I firmly believe that academic success cannot be achieved without mental health support. The mental health of our student population is the most important aspect of every student's life. Above all, we are committed to ensuring that students feel safe, welcomed, and supported with access to the resources they need, not only to survive college, but to also thrive in our ever-changing world.
Thank you. Kayla and Masha, you're up next. Your time starts now.
I'm really excited to talk about this one. As someone who serves on the CAPS Advisory Board, I've worked firsthand with directors and coordinators of programs for mental health initiatives on campus. We need to have more open conversations about mental health, because that's how we understand how to best serve students. Proud to talk about the Beavers Belong Support Network. I actually interviewed the head of that program, and I'm so happy to see that launching. It's actually, there's a launch party next Wednesday, so keep on the lookout for that. I don't know if folks have seen the flyers around campus. CAPS is also launching a mental health task force right now. They're looking at the College of Engineering in particular. Under our administration, Masha and I want to push for even more task forces to look at underserved populations at OSU and better assess their needs related to mental health. And we also want to work directly with CAPS to generate multifaceted approaches to addressing mental health on campus. Students know what support they need, and we need increased feedback from students. I'd really like to see more folks on the advisory board so that they can give their input on what they want to see on campus.
Thank you. Eliza and Sean, you're up next. Your time starts now.
I guess an immediate goal we have would be to expand the support and community groups that already exist in CAPS. We believe that these groups that often encompass people that have similar identities or face similar challenges would help people be able to find a community, and the people that know us best are our peers. This would be a low-cost thing that we think that we could expand. A more long-term goal would be to improve the wait time with CAPS. We also would like to advocate with professors to implement more flexible academic deadlines with students who may be facing mental health challenges.
Additionally, we believe that ASOSU can play a more involved role in students' mental health, specifically having more, to go along with our ASOSU increased outreach, have more mental health centric events. I know personally I like when the llama and the public safety dog comes by, so perhaps collaborating with them more to have more ASOSU events involving those two animals.
Thank you so much. Our next question will go to Kayla and Marsha first. As you mentioned, ASOSU funds a variety of programs on campus, including student health services, cultural centers, and recreational sports. What changes or additions do you wish to see in these programs over the next year? Kayla and Marsha, your time starts now.
Yeah, like Masha and I were talking about, we're certainly looking to implement new initiatives in our roles, but we really want to emphasize that there are already current initiatives on campus that can be improved on, right? It's quality over quantity. Some of those notable initiatives include improving Safe Ride, continuing support for free STI testing on campus, increasing naloxone access and education, as well as connecting more with other programs such as our collegiate recovery program, among many more. Masha and I understand the importance of ensuring that these initiatives are sustainable, and we would never want to put students in a position where they wouldn't have access to these resources in the future.
There's also programs that are already working really well but could use further expansion to be super effective. For example, OSU Assist is an amazing service here on campus, but they still have no phone number that you can call for them. You have to call them through the OSU police, and that can be scary to a lot of students as well as dangerous. So starting with really cheap things that we can do fast can be a good start.
Thank you so much. Eliza and Sean, you are up next, and your time will start now.
As previously mentioned, one of the big things we'd like to see return to campus is the 24-hour library. In our time doing simple polls over the last couple of weeks, we've seen hundreds of students talk in support of a 24-hour library. I know I've certainly caught myself studying between the hours of 12 and 3 in the morning, so having access to a library where students can requisition the course resources they need to succeed is something we think would be beneficial.
Thank you.
I guess another thing that we're interested is looking about how to better the internship or research credit experience. Currently, these credits cost the same per credit as other classes, but they often receive little oversight or instruction from professors, and we think that we'd be able to work with, potentially advocate for students with administration to be able to lower the cost of these to provide scholarships for people, or just reduce it down to the bare fees of the course.
Amazing. Next up, we have Lauren and Alexa. Your time will start now.
Thank you. One thing that we will definitely want to continue in the fee-funded units is promoting student awareness and accessibility and input. The student fee is paid by the students, and they should have a say on where this money is going. One of these things that we will continue is Damn Tested, which is an initiative I'm sure most of us are aware of, that provides free at-home STI testing to students. This was all a part of a project called Project Healthy Campus, initiated by Audrey and Zach, who are the current president and VP. So we want to work to improve campus safety, health, resources, cultural centers, academic support systems, things like Safe Ride and SEE, and all of these other student engagement opportunities to provide more than just an academic experience, but a truly life-changing college education for everyone at OSU.
Thank you. Last but not least, we have Mercedes and Chantel. You're last, so your timer will start now.
All right. So as for student fee funding programs for us, accountability and transparency is very important. So a great initiative would be to create like a feedback channels for students to speak on how they feel fees are being allocated. And for athletics, support the integration of athletics into campus sustainability and mental health initiatives as well.
I think in addition, we also want to increase opportunities by working with each of the fee-funded units to host events. As we've been seeing this year, we want to continue that throughout our year as well, if elected. Something that I'm currently working on actually is bringing Plan B to campus on campus for free. We know that the C-Care may be at risk under this current administration, and so I've already been working with companies to discuss how we could bring that onto campus. Another thing that we would like to do is work with groups that don't feel safe around campus police and safety to find alternatives on how we can have a better, safer campus.
Thank you so much. And thank you, candidates. We'll now take another short break, and the debate will continue once again after a few minutes.
Welcome back to the 2025 ASOSU presidential debate. We continue to our next question, which will go to Lauren and Alexa first. This year has seen a greater than normal amount of controversy for ASOSU. For example, the Judicial Council fell under investigation for violating public meeting law. How will you ensure transparency, accountability, and fairness in governmental processes, such as the fee setting process? Lauren and Alexa, you are first. Your time starts now.
Thank you so much for that. The ASOSU Constitution and its structure are the foundation of how our student government operates and serves its student body. The Constitution ensures a transparent and accountable system of governance for our student leadership, but it is important to be accountable and accessible. They're the cornerstones of ASOSU and are essential for maintaining trust between the student leaders and the student body. By ensuring open communication, ASOSU provides students with clear insights into decision-making processes, budget allocation, and ongoing initiatives that we've been talking about and before. Regular updates, accessible meetings, and transparent decision-making allow students to stay informed and hold their leaders accountable for their actions, which is something that Lauren and I will continue if we are voted in. This commitment to transparency encourages student engagement, empowers individuals to voice their concerns, and ensures that ASOSU acts in the best interest of the entire student population. Ultimately, it builds a stronger, more responsive student government built for the student body.
Thank you. Kayla and Masha, you're up next. Your time starts now.
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's critical that we address this because when our student government is embroiled in controversy, students lose faith in our student government and they don't engage. If we want students to be represented in university decision-making processes, then we have to actually follow the processes. We have to post meeting times at a reasonable time before they occur, make sure students have access to spaces to share their voices and opinions, that they can contact their elected representatives, as well as increase outreach surrounding advisory boards and other opportunities for students. We also need to comply with Oregon public meeting law. Masha and I, if elected, plan to hold office hours where students can come and directly engage with both of us. We also plan to continue engaging directly with our community to understand their needs by reaching out to clubs, organizations, and the colleges to gain a diversity of voices to inform our decision-making under our administration.
Thank you. Mercedes and Chantel, you're up next, and your time starts now.
Thank you for that. As far as ASOSU Constitution structure goes, ensuring that students are involved in all the steps of the processes is very important to us. Transparency, of course, is on the top of our list. In order to make sure that we are maintaining a transparent structure within ASOSU, we're going to hold monthly events, as I mentioned previously, and make sure that we have low-stakes opportunities for engagement on all stakeholder levels. We also want to ensure that we're, again, meeting Oregon Public Meeting Law and making sure that all students feel comfortable coming to us on topics, even if we all don't agree openly. But having open dialogue is a way that we can all promote growth within ASOSU and the campus in general.
Thank you. Eliza and Sean, you are last, and your time starts now.
As previously mentioned, we would incredibly like to see more ASOSU outreach. On top of the students holding us accountable, Eliza and I recognize that we are but 2 students. So we would also like to see other members of ASOSU, specifically the Senate, hold the president, vice president accountable, because ultimately if we are not doing the will of the students, the Senate has a better reach because there's just more of them to have a better understanding of what the students want. So if we're not doing what they believe is right for the students, then surely they will hold us accountable in the same way.
We also would like the Student Fee Committee to be more democratically elected by increasing the number of at-large members. Currently, there is more liaisons who are typically appointed or voted on by a select number of people, as opposed to the number of members that are voted on by the entire student body. Something else as a graduate student I would like to see is the graduate students to not be included for everyone could be able to vote on them, just because currently not many people run, and we think that would make more competitive elections.
Awesome, thank you so much. For our next question, Eliza and Sean will answer first. ASOSU oversees a variety of programs on campus related to student safety and health, like Safe Ride and the New Dam Tested program, providing students with at-home STI testing kits. How can ASOSU further develop these programs? Eliza and Sean will be the first to answer this, and your time will start now.
Yeah, with the free STI testing, I think that next year, if there's a need and desire for more, then for students wanting to see more than one test per term, then we could expand the program so students could possibly get 2 or more tests. Something also that I'm interested in is seeing increased helmet usage with VAO scooters. Currently, not many people wear them, and I think it's kind of dangerous, as I've gotten hit by a scooter before, and I think that possibly people could check them out from the library for a long-term usage.
Another thing we'd like to see is the increased awareness of certain when it comes to medical things on campus, student health services, for example, charges a fee for flu shots. It is also my understanding that Safeway down the road offers them for free. We would like to increase things like that so that students know that they have access to these medical services, not for a fee, but they can do it for free.
Thank you. We'll pass that over to Kayla and Masha to answer the next question. Your time will start now.
Yeah, thank you. When we're talking about health and safety on this campus, one of the things that often gets swept under the rug is the fact that we need to address gender-based violence on this campus. If Masha and I are elected, we plan to strengthen and ensure support for survivor advocacy services that would have had an impact on the federal level. We want to connect with advocates and local organizations in our community, so that includes organizations like CAPE and CARDVA. We want to address and assess potential barriers to services if students are experiencing any, and we want to seek external means of revenue to sustain and grow these services. We also want to expand prevention services on our campus, so that looks like supporting our peer education program, and also working with campus partners to ensure collective education of our community.
We also want to expand Safe Ride because it's a really great program happening, but the wait times are really long, which is why many students will not be using it. So increasing the cars and student staff on that, I think, would be a really big step.
Thank you. Next up, we have Mercedes and Chantel. You are next, so your timer will start now.
Thank you. So going back to campus health and safety, we already touched base a little bit about it. We're already working with companies in case C-Care gets booted out due to our current administration for bringing free plan B on campus. We also want to work with public safety on increasing blue emergency buttons around campus and improve campus lighting so people don't have to walk home in the dark. Also, working within student transportation to increase the amount of Beaver buses and how often they run. I know that they end pretty early and there's a gap between Beaver buses running and Safe Ride operating. So closing that gap and bridging it would be really good. We also just want everyone to feel safe on campus. So by listening to students, we will hear what they want and hopefully bring those forward as well.
Thank you. Lastly, we have Lauren and Alexa. Your time starts now.
Thank you. Campus safety and resources are a priority for us in our administration, and as student leaders, we are committed to ensuring that every student feels secure on and around campus. This includes advocating for well-lit pathways, accessible emergency services, and especially making it so that students feel like they can safely connect with DPS, because a lot of students, for many, many reasons, may feel like they can't access the public officials. Additionally, we want to work to promote a culture of respect and accountability where students feel safe reporting incidents of harassment or violence, and we support programs that raise awareness about mental health, sexual assault prevention, and bystander intervention, empowering students to actively and contribute to a safer environment. We also want to work to contribute to Dam Tested, C-Care, and all of these other resources like Safe Ride and things that keep students safe, as well as access for disabled students and marginalized students who may have a harder time accessing these resources.
Thank you. For our final question of the night, Mercedes and Chantel will answer first. Why do you feel being president or vice president of ASOSU is the best way for you to enact the changes you want to see at Oregon State University? In what specific ways will you continue to advocate for those changes if not elected by the student body? Mercedes and Chantel, you are up first. Your time begins now.
All right, so my motivations for holding office is like my commitment to serving all students and amplifying underrepresented voices, as well as my personal dedication to community-driven solutions from my experience at the legislature and as a president for the blood drive in my high school career. And
so creating a campus where every student is heard, valued, and empowered through collaboration and campus involvement is why we chose the presidential and vice president route. If not elected, I will still continue this work through the EOP program as a peer mentor for Beaver Connect and through my fellowship for the Cascadia COPESO.
Thank you. Eliza and Sean, you are up next, and your time begins now.
I guess we have both worked in the Senate and know how ASOSU works. We would want to act as a liaison between the administration and the students, acting as a voice for them. And I guess if I were to not get this position, then I would continue working within the ASOSU setting and maybe joining a student advisory board, such as I work for the Memorial Union Southeast looking at becoming a student.
Yeah, even if something like that doesn't work out, just increasing my voice, using my voice to get people interested in ASOSU outside of an official capacity would be greatly beneficial, because ultimately having more engagement is always beneficial.
One of our other motivations for running is that we think we have a clear vision and tangible goals that students that we have seen want, and we think that we would be able to get them done in our time as elected.
Thank you. Kayla and Masha, you're up next, and your time begins now.
As participants of campus activism and community work for quite a while, we know exactly the kinds of hurdles that are met and could be solved more effectively with student government, which is what inspired us to run. If we do not get elected, we will never stop these efforts. We will continue to try to get the changes that the student body needs through the power of a unionized labor force.
Yeah, like Masha's touched on, we bring some unique qualities to these roles. Two in particular, like she said, is labor activism and a background in community care. We work directly in labor organizing with OSUSW as well as CGE, and we're honored to have received both of their endorsements. For me, my experience in community care as a student worker inspired me to run along with Masha. Hearing the struggles and frustrations from my peers who felt voiceless led me to want to take on a leadership role, because I know that change is possible here. My work on the Student Fee Committee, for example, gave me the opportunity to use my voice to advocate on behalf of living wages for students, and I hope to continue to fight for students in even greater capacity as your president.
Thank you. Lastly, we have Lauren and Alexa. Your time begins now.
Thank you, Fox. My motivation for holding office in ASOSU all ties back to change. Since I began at OSU, I've recognized inaccessibility, inequity, and disproportionate justice across campus. And I see these changes on campus that need to happen but aren't, so I know that I have the skills and passion necessary to make these changes happen. If I do not win this election and I do not become the president next year, I'm going to continue my work with the College of Forestry, the Board of Trustees, all of these organizations that I have been working with outside of my time in ASOSU to make the changes that I'm promising you today.
I personally want to hold office because of my drive and ambition to help the OSU community. I've been involved in student government since I was in high school and have been able to make change within my community as a leader, as I've been awarded national awards for my community service and my leadership. As a senator for ASOSU, I also have seen the Senate and ASOSU work in a way that most students may not, and I feel that OSU students will be empowered when they see people like Lauren and I with our identities and my last name, and want to make that change as well.
Thank you so much. Our debate will conclude with the 60-second closing statements with each candidate. The order of closing statements will be Mercedes and Chantel, Eliza and Sean, Kayla and Masha, and finally Lauren and Alexa. Mercedes and Chantel, you are up first, and your time will begin now.
Thank you. First, I'd like to extend our greatest gratitude towards the staff that made this possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Secondly, I truly believe that together, Sadie's and I can create a campus where mental health, sustainability, equity, and transparency are a reality and not just bizarre ideas. We're not here just to hold office, we're here to work for you. So together, we can make the damn dream a reality.
Thank you. Next up, we'll have Eliza and Sean. Your time will start now.
Over our last 2 years of engaging with ASOSU, we've got to see 2 administrations come and go. We've got to see their wins and losses, and we believe we've taken what we need from them to be able to maximize our impact while minimizing our losses.
We have worked and advocated for legislation that allows compromise and mediation in order to further goals.
While we recognize compromise is the foundation of collaboration, we have not, will not, and are not willing to compromise the wishes of the students at any cost.
We hope our actions will speak louder than our words, and our experiences will speak for ourselves.
We will translate our experiences and skills into tangible results so that we can continue to do what's right for OSU students. What's damn right?
Thank you. Kayla and Masha, you guys are up next. Your time will start now.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having us tonight. And as we said before, my name is Kayla Ramirez, and I'm running to be your ASOSU president.
My name is Masha, and I'm running to be our ASOSU vice president.
As a student, I really want to emphasize that your voice is your vote. Voting gives you the ability to directly influence the change that you want to see on this campus and ensure a positive impact on the experience of community here at Oregon State University. Masha and I have invested years of service to this community, and we are hopeful that we can continue to contribute in an even greater capacity as your student representatives.
We want to extend a generous thank you to all the organizations, unions, and students who have endorsed us. Don't take our word for it. Look at the prominent members of the community and believe and advocate for our vision. And thank you for having us again, and good night, Beeves.
Thank you. Last but not least, Lauren and Alexa, Your timer will start now.
Thank you. One thing that we wanted to address before the evening comes to a close is student athletics and student tickets. We are strong advocates for this. We want to keep these programs in place. I'm going to keep this very brief, so I will move on now. But once again, I'm Lauren Camus. I'm running for president.
I'm Alexa Gomez Silva. I'm running for vice president. Thank you to KBVR, Orange Media, the Barrow, the Alumni Center, and ASOSU for making this night happen. And thank you so much to the other candidates as well as our moderators for having a peaceful and amazing discussion. I feel like we all definitely got it aired out. Please vote by this Friday at 1:30. No matter who you vote for, we're all student advocates and we're all here to serve the students and make sure that the OSU community goes home every night and knows that they voted for the person that they knew that they wanted to vote for. Again, we thank the audience as well for staying here the entire night. You guys are so awesome. Thank you for listening to us. And please don't hesitate to contact Lauren and I in any platform.
Thank you so much. This then concludes our debate for the evening. Thank you to all the candidates for the discussion. It's much appreciated.
As a reminder, voting is open until this Friday, February 28th. Vote with the QR code on the screen or with the link sent to your student email.
Thank you for watching the 2025 ASOSU Presidential and Vice Presidential Debate hosted by KBVR TV. To keep up with current OSU and student government events, follow ASOSU, KBVR TV, The Chew, and the Daily Barometer on Instagram. I'm Andre Bedoya Bunch.
And I'm Fox Perez. Have a good night.